Again, the White House has said the 260 people it flew to a notorious prison in El Salvador were members of a dangerous Venezuelan gang. But my next guest argues her client is not a member of that gang, that he's an asylum seeker. Joining us now, Executive Director of the Immigrant Defenders Law Center, Lindsay Toslovsky. Lindsay, thanks for being here. Who is your client?
So our client is a professional in his 30s. He's a gay man, works in the arts industry. He's someone that the lawyers from our office who have been meeting with him directly have described him as sweet, funny, and he's someone who has no criminal history. He entered the United States in the way that our government asked people to do. Last year, he made an appointment through CBP-1. He was processed. He asked for protection. He passed his credible fear interview. He was in the midst of his proceedings. He remained in detention solely because the government alleged that his tattoos were made him part of Tren de Aragua. However, his tattoos, I can say, looking at the evidence, are tattoos that you might see on any art student walking around on the streets in the United States. They're benign tattoos. And he finds himself now in El Salvador after, no hearing, no ability for us to refute the baseless allegations that he's a member of this gang.
Have you been able to make contact with him?
We have not. We have requested to be able to access our client to ICE. And within the last hour, we were actually given confirmation that they will not facilitate any such contact. They are saying that he has been removed. We have received no documentation of this. The only reason that we even knew that he was in El Salvador and had the confirmation, although we suspected it, was because he had an immigration court hearing on Monday. On Monday of this week, he had that hearing. And because of that, we got confirmation that he was in El Salvador. But we have received no written documentation from ICE or from the government about the circumstances of his removal. And now, after asking to speak with him, we have been told that they will not facilitate any such contact.
Where is he from originally?
He is from Venezuela, and so he came here fleeing political persecution. He arrived, as I said, through lawful means to get an appointment to seek protection under U.S. law. And he arrived last year. Upon entry, Customs and Border Protection and ICE determined that he needed to be detained because of his tattoos. That is something that we would absolutely refute in a hearing because the tattoos are clearly not gang related. And as I mentioned, our client is a professional. He is someone who is in his 30s, clearly not a member of any gang. And so these are baseless allegations, and it's truly shocking that someone like him would end up in a forced removal to El Salvador, to a prison where there are gross human rights violations documented. The circumstances of him being among this group, given the information that the government is saying about who they are alleging was on that plane, is truly shocking.
Yeah, and I've got a question about what's next, but I'm just out of curiosity, can you describe the tattoos? I mean, the government says they're gang tattoos, and you're saying, no, they're art student tattoos. What is the disconnect here?
We're navigating a situation that we've never been in before, which is really evaluating the safety risks for a client who is in a prison in El Salvador where the president of that country is, tweeting and sending out videos of people who are there. And so I don't want to describe the tattoos in detail, but I can say that they are benign tattoos, not tattoos that you would associate with any gang. And they're the same types of tattoos that you might see on any art student or any other person walking down the streets in the United States.
So you can't get a hold of him. ICE is not facilitating that. Is he just going to be in this prison forever? I mean, is there a next step?
So certainly we are looking at the litigation that is ongoing related to all of the people that were on those planes and people who the government sent subject to the Alien Enemies Act. However, we're in uncharted territories. I've been an immigration attorney representing people for 15 years. I have never seen a situation like this. And so we're truly looking at all options that might be available to our client. But again, we have been told nothing by the government. We have been told nothing about the circumstances of this. They're calling it a removal. However, he still has ongoing proceedings in the United States. He is before an immigration judge. He has an asylum claim pending. There has been no removal issued by a court in the United States. So what happens next, we are not sure because we have been given absolutely no information, but we will be pursuing all avenues available to us in the coming days to ensure our clients' safety.
Lindsay Toslowski, Executive Director of the Immigrant Defenders Law Center. Thank you so much for joining us.